Hello and welcome to the show. So we've got a little bit of a special Will It Roll for you today. I am going to see if I can beat the world record for number of rolls in a car crash, which I believe is 7 from what I can find on the internet, which is from the Bond film Casino Royale, from the car flip stunt in that. Now, for this, I'm going to need a car which rolls over very easily, which is why I am using this Dodge Ram, which if you so much as breathe on a curb, it falls over, which is going to be useful. And now I can't get it back onto its wheels because Forza is being funny. There we go. It's righted itself. So yes, I've got to try and do 7 or more rolls in a single crash. Now, I don't have the help, the whatever systems they had for the Bond film, where they basically fired a pneumatic cannon out the bottom of the car to get it to flip. I am having to use what I have in Forza, which is, well, I'm going to start with trying on the curbs. Now, the reason I'm using Maple Valley is because I can get a better run at this corner here. At Sunset, while that curb is better for rolling cars, you don't have as big a runoff area, so you're going to hit a wall and it's going to stop you running. Whereas here, or going to stop you rolling, sorry. Whereas here, I have a little bit more space. That's what I'm doing. I'm showing you the space. I didn't miss the curb at all. Nope, none of that happened. I'm showing you the amount of space. Because the problem with Sunset is that there are 2 ways to approach the curb. You can either go through the chicane, which is slower, but you'll have a little bit more kind of space on the exit. There's still going to be a wall there. Or you can go the way which is normally easier for rolling the cars, which is down the straight. However, when you do roll it, there's that great big tyre bundle that I'm going to smack the cars into. So I'm not going to get the required amount of rolls. My hope is here I can go a little bit faster onto the curb, and I should have sort of more space for the car to flip and roll on the exit, if you like. But it's still not particularly fantastic. It looks quite spectacular. But the problem is, it rolls over and then it smacks the wall. And as soon as it smacks the wall, you kind of lose all momentum. And then, of course, it's going to stop rolling. I tried a little while on this curve at the top of the hill. And again, it looks quite spectacular as it smacks the invisible wall. But it just can't do it. The wall just stops it from rolling any more than a couple of times. I don't think I got any more than 2 rolls out of it before it just stops dead on the wall. The other downside to this is if you try and take a fast run up, you're very likely to catch the curb on the inside there. And as I said, you breathe at a curb and it falls over, and sure enough, the Ram fell over on that bit, and I think I got more rolls on that one than any of the other ones. Also, to count as a full roll, normally when I do Will It Roll, I say the car has to get onto its roof. For this, the car has to go from being on its wheels to its roof to its wheels to count as 1. Okay, just to clarify that. So yeah, it has to do a full roll to count as 1 roll. So I had to get a bit creative with finding a space to roll it. Now, I can't use the curbs because none of the tracks have enough runoff area. I spent a while exploring tracks. I can't use the curbs to do this rolling. So instead, I'm going to have to use the grass, and I am using Road America as this has the biggest runoff area as I get. I think that's 3.5 rolls in my first attempt with the Ram, which isn't too bad. But this section of the track here is the widest sort of runoff area I could find to do this on. You will also notice that I'm kind of trying to fling my car almost back onto the road to try and stop it from going in the wall, because momentum is so important in this. And this is the real problem. This is the real challenge with this. This Ram is a fast car. I think with the modifications I have on it, I was getting it to probably 160 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more before I rolled it. We got 4, come on, land it, there we go. We got 4 rolls that time. But the problem is, as soon as you handbrake and you get on the grass, you lose a lot of speed, and the minute it starts tumbling, with each roll you lose quite a significant amount of speed. So for the first roll, by the time the car's kind of on its roof, it's probably got about 120 miles an hour, and then then it loses another 40 odd miles an hour in the next roll, and it's very, very quickly lost all of its speed. I tried again with the Ram, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5, just 5 rolls, but I can't go any better than that. I just can't. I tried for quite a while with this Ram trying to get more than that. Problem is, it just doesn't have, you just can't get the speed, because the minute you put it sideways on the grass, you lose so much speed, and of course as it starts tumbling, you're losing so much momentum that it can't keep going. So I changed cars. I'm going to have a go with a smart car. This is another car I know that falls over very, very easily. Now, this has been fully modified, or as fully modified as it can go. Problem is, it can only have 222 horsepower, which means it's not particularly fast. It is quite fun watching it tumble, and that's 4 rolls, I think. It's really hard to try and count and commentate at the same time. But yeah, the smart car, while it does tumble very easily, and it's very amusing to watch, it doesn't have the speed, and I can't put any more upgrades in it. This is all the upgrades it's got. Whereas the Dodge Ram was hitting about 170 before I was throwing, or 160, 170 before I was throwing it on the grass. This hits about 130, and the problem is, then once you've handbraked on the grass, you lost a lot of speed before it even starts rolling. And again, this is 3.25, I think, on that attempt. So yeah, the smart car really isn't fast enough. Now, possibly, if I had somebody give it a push with the likes of a Veyron, maybe you could get it up to a sensible enough speed. I didn't have time to do that. And also, I think you would struggle keeping control of it. And it's not a long enough straight, really, to accelerate it that well. Now, I did discover one thing, though, that was quite useful with the smart car. And that was, I was trying to just clip the grass to try and keep momentum going. I don't know how many flips. It does some front flips and some more rolls going on there. I think that was 4. But yeah, I kind of developed the idea of just, you want to clip the back of the wheels on the grass and then get it rolling, to stop it losing as much momentum, especially with this car that is the slowest of the lot that I bought here. I was trying to just get the back wheels on the grass so I could lose as little speed before it starts flipping. But even then, it wasn't doing too much. Again, that's 5 rolls for the smart car. It's still fairly impressive, considering this thing was only doing about 130, I think, was the highest I could really get it. Because it's just not... It's not fast enough, not enough power, and ignore the spin there. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to drive. Nobody saw that. So I had to get creative again, and this time I have gone for a Lotus Elan. Now this is very fast. It has the Evora engine in it, I think. It's like high S-class. And it's also the right shape for getting the car to roll as well, which I was hoping would sort of make it work a little bit better. I don't know what on earth happened there. It changed direction. It wanted to roll mid-roll. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Physics just had a whoopsie moment. But yeah, still it was. I can't even remember how many that was. I forgot to count. Yeah, still it wasn't quite enough. Now this is faster than Ram. I think this is almost 170 miles an hour. And in fact, no, it's more than that. 180 maybe. I don't know. It's a blooming quick car, this thing. When I was throwing it on the grass again, I was trying to just catch the side of the grass, although it's a little bit tricky in a car this fast. I don't know how on earth it stopped itself rolling there as well. That was quite impressive. It has an awful lot of grip. But it's still not going to do enough. The thing is, it doesn't matter how fast the car is going before it hits the grass. They kind of lose so much speed. For getting more than 5 rolls is really very, very tricky in this, because every time it hits the ground, it's losing momentum. And even with the little extra speed that I have in this over the likes of the Ram, it's not quite enough. And we're going to do 4, I think, and no, maybe 5 there, and it's on its side. Yeah, I think that's the most I got out of a car. On here, there's 5.25, I think, possibly from that roll. It's really hard to try and count while you're talking about something else. It is pretty tricky. So my next kind of idea was about using lightness. By having a lighter car, it's going to take less kind of energy to get the car rolling. So I went for the lightest car in the game, the Lotus 11. The problem is, this thing is so blooming hard to control when you put this much power in it. It is incredibly difficult. Anybody who's tried it, this car is just too light to deal with this amount of power. Because I can't remember how much power it's got in now. It's got the fully upgraded Lotus, one of the Evora engine as well goes in this. It's got so much power. You put the foot down in 4th or 5th gear and it's still spinning the wheels, and it's so unbelievably twitchy. You see me here, I'm trying, this time I do manage to get it facing the right direction to kind of roll, but it's so tricky. Again, it changes direction mid-roll, and I think that's 4-ish rolls. Yeah, I don't know. The real problem with this car is it's technically the fastest one here. If I could ever keep the damn thing in a straight line, it really is an absolute pain. You can see here it's going sideways on the straights. Yeah, it's really not very easy. Oh, still goes sideways. No, this has not gone well. Fine, we'll roll it over here then. Don't know what goes in. There's a bit of a front flip going on, and now. The 11 is just too hard to drive. I'm also fairly sure, even if it stopped sort of being a nightmare to get in a straight line, I think this is the wrong shape as well. I noticed a few times when it was rolling over, and I lost control of it before anyway. That because of the kind of how flat it is, it loses a lot of speed when it hits kind of like the sides, so it didn't get more than 4 rolls, I don't think. That's probably terribly explained, but basically this card no good for rolling, for being uncontrollable, and it's the wrong shape. So I was determined not to be beaten by this challenge, so I gave up on Forza, because I don't think I can do it. And headed on to GTA 5 because I'm fairly sure I can do this here. Well, I say that. So I'm going to try and roll my car down the mountain. Now, there are a few extra things to consider when we're doing it. No, didn't roll that time. When I'm doing this in GTA 5, one on Forza, I can, of course, turn all the damage off. On here, I can't. I don't know. There might be a cheat for it. I don't think there is, though. So I have to be wary of actually blowing my car up. We're going to roll... Nope, we're not going to roll this time. I could just take a very big jump off the side of the mountain. Sure, that would get it rolling. It might do a couple of barrel rolls in the air. The problem is when it whacks into the ground. Come on, car, get up the hill. Please get up the hill. There we go. The problem is when it whacks into the ground, it doesn't matter if it's not damaged beforehand. Like one big hit will cause it to explode, which is a big problem here. So at the moment, I'm trying to get my car just to kind of topple over the edge so that it will roll, but without kind of going flying into the countryside. Because, yeah, I don't want the car to explode before it hits the ground. Here we go. It's going to work this time. It's going to work this time. Hey, that's one. No, I can do that on Forza. Okay, so it wasn't working at that particular point. I ended up swapping cars and tried flying off this jump over here. I had to mute this clip because I forgot to turn the radio off, and that didn't get it rolling. And I'm trying to find the turn the radio off button. There we go. However, I didn't realise I was driving a Pinto, as it promptly explodes. That's the downside of doing it on GTA. Yeah, I didn't expect it to kill it on that sort of impact, but never mind. So yeah, that failed miserably. So I went back to using the Jeep. I had a save file at the bottom of this mountain with this Jeep. That's why you see me using this one. So I'd chosen a slightly better place to kind of fling the car off, and it's having a little bit more luck. There we go. That's 1 and 2, and there's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And no, you stopped. And Trevor's going to close the door. Tree! Mind the... well... I got 6, so I equaled... I think Top Gear stunt driver did 6 rolls. I'm going to try again over here. That's quite an impressive barrel roll, but it's not enough. I think the Top Gear stunt driver did 6 rolls and the Casino Royale stunt did 7. I believe. That's what I found on the internet. So I've equaled the Top Gear one, which is quite impressive. Then the police decided to join in. I borrowed someone's Jeep. They could have it back at the end if they wanted. And yeah, the police weren't too happy. They followed me up the mountain, and then they tried to beat the record as well. Bye-bye, police car. I don't know where he's going. He's gone off somewhere down there. Unfortunately, my Jeep got stuck, otherwise I would have followed him down to see what happened. But he was having... the blooming police had a better luck than I did at rolling down there. I think he got wedged on the rocks. I don't know. I couldn't see. Anyway, now I've kind of got up the hill. I'm going to try throwing it off this ramp because I'm trying to go off a bit sideways to get a bit of a roll going on. Didn't really work. And now there's a tree, another tree. I found many a tree, and even that didn't roll. So yeah, it was proving to be a little bit trickier than I had kind of... I thought it was going to be really easy. Just go on GTA, throw a car down a mountain, and try not to explode, and it wouldn't be too hard. But it is surprisingly tricky. Again, with the Jeep Wrangler, that's just doing a kind of a flat spin. I think there's a sort of 2, and now we... oh, God knows what's going on. Found another tree there. I'd never quite know how to count it when the car's kind of twisting the wrong way in the air. Either way, that wouldn't have been enough, however I counted it. So, we're going to try again. I was trying various different sort of spots to throw the car off. Somehow it didn't roll there. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just going to throw it off the next bit of scenery. Now, one advantage, I do have a little bit of control of the car in the air in GTA, so I'd managed to get it started there. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and exploding. God, if that hadn't exploded, I think I would have got it on that attempt. I really do, because it would have probably carried on flipping. But yeah, it killed me on that one. So I tried another place on the mountain. Didn't really know how well this one was going to work either. This is quite a lot lower down and quite a little bit slower speeds. However, there's 1 and 2 and 3, and it's using the doors. 4, 5, 6. Come on, no, don't. And again, it's only 6. The doors flapping about are actually helping it on that one, kind of like pushing it over. I ended up in one of these things again. It was just what vehicles were around at the time. And there's, well, kind of 1-ish, and no, it's not going to work. Now we're on our roof again. Tree! No, don't explode, don't explode, don't it? Okay. Yeah, I found a magic rubber tree. I don't know how that one works either. Yeah, it didn't explode my Jeep though, which was nice. Yeah, it is surprisingly tricky to kind of do this without exploding. I was getting frustrated. I was getting bored of trying to turn the things around, so I just started throwing them off the hill at random points when I was climbing up. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7... and there's 8. I've done it, and there's a front flip as well, and smack into a rock. But I've rolled it 8 times in one crash without destroying the car, and it is now completely wedged in that rock. So I have been successful. I've made kind of a record. I've beaten the real life record for number of flips in a car crash. It was surprisingly difficult, I have to say, and I don't think I can do it on Forza. Yeah, I did kind of have to cheat and go on GTA, and I completely got that Jeep stuck. But there we go. So I have been successful, and this is as close as I'm going to get to doing a will it roll on GTA, because it is very simple to roll a vehicle, although it's not very simple to roll one 8 times, I think. But anyway, that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you would like to see me do kind of themes or certain challenges for Will It Roll, then please do leave them in the comments section. I'll have a look through, and my favourites will be in a video at some point. However, that is it for today. So until next time, goodbye.